Hey guys, Leanne here on GradysMom. I wanted to show you a quick and easy recipe called Cowboy Caviar. Now, probably some of you at least have seen this going around on Pinterest from time to time. It tends to pop up more like in the warmer months, and it's something that I honestly always forget about until I see it pop up on Pinterest, and that's exactly what happened. I was on Pinterest the other day and I saw it pop up and I was like, I need to make that again because I have not made this in a long time, and it's something that I always enjoy. Like if I go to a barbecue or a party or something in the summer and they have this, it's really easy to make, so I wanted to share with you how I make it. There are slight variations, and obviously you can add and substitute things to your liking. So this is what I use. I use a can of white kidney beans. The traditional recipe calls for black-eyed peas, canned black-eyed peas, and it's delicious that way, but in my local area, at least a couple stores that I've been to, I have not been able to find black-eyed peas in a can. So I just substitute the white kidney beans or cannellini beans. I've done this several times when I've made this in the past and I've had no issues. You're gonna need a can of black beans, 2 avocados that are either ripe or almost ripe. You're gonna need a red onion, a bell pepper. You can use any color you like. I just thought the yellow would look pretty with this. I also think orange would look really pretty, but I only have yellow or red. You're gonna need 3 Roma tomatoes, some cilantro, a jalapeno. You can take the seeds out if you don't want it spicy. You're gonna need a bag of frozen whole kernel corn. I have done this recipe in the past with canned corn and it was just fine, but I prefer the frozen if I have it. And then for the dressing, if you will, you're gonna need some extra virgin olive oil, some red wine vinegar, a juice from a lime, some white sugar, salt and pepper, and some garlic powder, and that's it. This is, like I said, pretty the traditional way, minus the white kidney beans and substituting the black-eyed peas. So I'm gonna go ahead, get everything prepped, and show you how easy this is to bring together. Alright guys, so after you rinse your beans really well, I go ahead and just put my frozen corn right in the bowl. Mine is still partially frozen, totally fine. It thaws out faster than you would think. And then I'm going to take my beans, which are all rinsed. I'm just going to give this a little shake. And then I'm going to pour these right in with the corn. And give this a little stir. Just to get it all mixed together. And then I'm going to go ahead and chop up and prep the rest of my veggies. Get them in here and I'll show you how it comes together and of course how I make the dressing. Okay, so I have prepped everything with one fail. The avocado is not ripe enough and I just don't feel right about putting it in when it's still like too hard. Also, my husband is not a big avocado fan, but in this salad he doesn't mind it. I honestly don't even think he notices it. So what I'm going to do is obviously let these ripen. I'm gonna wrap this in saran, and obviously this one I'll just let sit out. And when it's ripe, I can just add it into like my individual portions. Some people like to use this as a dip, which I love it. I also like to have it just in a little bowl as like a side dish with a meal. That is what we're gonna be using it for mainly this week. And of course, to dip with, I like to dip it with these Scoops tortilla chips. So now it's time to make up the dressing. So I'm going to show you how easy that is, and then you pour it over top and stir it all together. Alright guys, so for the dressing, also by the way, I'm going to leave the link down below for the recipe that I go off of, so don't panic about having to worry about measurements and stuff, because everything will be linked, the recipe will be linked down below. So I'm just going to put in a 1/3 cup of olive oil. I'm going to do a whole lime. I'm just going to squeeze it right in. It calls for 2 tablespoons, but I just find that 1 whole lime usually does the trick. And it's nice because the lime helps, in my opinion, the veggies stay nice and bright. That's just kind of what I found. Citrus tends to do that. You can also find with lemon it'll do that too. So this is a nice juicy lime, which is great. Okay. Next is the red wine vinegar. And it also calls for 2 tablespoons, but I kind of just like to eyeball it. Looks about right to me. Alright, next up, I'm going to grab a teaspoon of sugar. I do actually measure the sugar. Everything else I kind of eyeball, but I don't want it to be too sweet. And then it does call for a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pepper, but again, I just kind of eyeball it because I can always add a little bit more. after I stir it, pepper, and then it also calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, but I do a little bit more than that because I'm a garlic junkie. So I probably pour in like closer to 1/2 teaspoon. So next you want to whisk. You can also just use a fork and kind of do like a scrambling motion. Just gonna whisk this all up. It smells really good and fresh. I love the lime in this. Because you definitely want everything to be incorporated, especially the oil and the vinegar, for sure. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So, I'm gonna get my bowl. It's such a pretty salad too. And we're gonna pour the dressing over the top, get every last bit. I'm gonna give this a stir and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, so here is the final result. Once again, avocado was not ripe, or else the avocado would be in here. In addition, so I'll leave the link down below. Definitely give this a try, guys. It's really good to bring to a barbecue or a potluck, especially in the warmer months when sometimes it's nice to have a nice cold side dish. I plan to bring this to work and just eat it as a salad, like a little side salad. And also, like I mentioned, we like to dip it with the Scoops chips. I find the shape of the Scoops chips holds this really well because it's not like soupy or wet. It's like more of a dry salsa if you're going to use it as a salsa. But I highly recommend using it as a side dish. It's something different. It's something fresh. It does have a pretty decent shelf life. Obviously, the avocado would be the first thing to kind of go bad. Another thing I've heard people do, because of the fact of the avocado going bad fairly quickly, is they actually leave the avocado out and they just slice up avocado as needed to kind of pour into individual portions, which is actually what I'm going to be doing, which wasn't even planned for. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this easy summer kind of side dish slash dip, and have a great day. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.